Hello learners, welcome to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. Let us discuss the first unit of our paper Fundamentals of Sociology. The title of the unit 1 is French and Industrial Revolution, Origin and Emergence of Sociology. So when we talk about basically origin of sociology, and as you all know, sociology is study of society, and from the times immemorial, human thought, human intellectuals, they have always tried to understand human society in multiple ways. Basically the main purpose to understand is to have a kind of a thorough understanding of ethical living and moral conduct, and society was interpreted through various normative and also philosophical lenses. But still there were a lot of limitations when it comes to the pre-sociological thought, because the observations made by the intellectuals or philosophers, they were quite fragmentary in nature and may not be very scientific and objective in nature. Moreover, serious efforts to establish cause and effect relationships were also not existing, and most of the times the social traditions, norms, values, they were understood through religious perspectives or some kind of a divine intervention, and clear cut methodologies to understand social realities was not very much present. So the pre-sociological thought process had this kind of limitations. But it is very important for us to understand and also appreciate that how ancient thinkers established very strong roots of sociological understanding. You all might have heard the names of Plato, Aristotle, Cicero, St. Augustine, who tried to understand the concepts connected with social organization, state, justice, and especially when we talk about Aristotle, he is popularly known for making a statement that man is a social animal. So all these thinkers, Plato, Aristotle, Cicero, St. Augustine, not only in the Greek thought but also in Indian thought, many philosophers tried to understand society from different perspectives. And also much later when we talk about the modern contributions also, we have people like Machiavelli, Thomas More, then we have Francis Bacon, who also tried to help us understand society from multiple perspectives. So in a way we will see that from pre-sociological thought to early modern contribution, there is a shift from idealism to realism and observation. And just before sociology, like see, for any discipline to take birth or to arise, there are certain preconditions which become very important. So before the birth of sociology, what was happening? A kind of a massive expansion of Western civilization was taking place, and there was also rise of scientific temper and a kind of a rational inquiry, whereby social realities were understood through a concrete scientific observations. And that is why we will see that society was being understood more and more scientific in nature. There are four very critical factors which are important for us to understand in emergence of sociology. So as a student of sociology, we should be in a position to appreciate the process of Renaissance, or it was a kind of a cultural movement which spanned from 14th century to 17th century onwards. Apart from Renaissance, there was also Enlightenment period, which was more of a philosophical movement around 18th century. But two very contributing factors, very significant factors in emergence of sociology, it is French Revolution and Industrial Revolution. French Revolution, which occurred around 1789, and also American Freedom Movement around 1776, and also Industrial Revolution in the early part of 19th century, but it initiated in the late 18th century and continued towards the early part of 19th century. So these four factors have been very, very critical in emergence of sociology, in origin of sociology as a discipline. Then in this entire context, Auguste Comte, who was a very well known French philosopher, he is considered as father of sociology because he was the one who coined the term sociology for the first time. Prior to he coining the word sociology, he gave the word social physics, but he realized that that word was already utilized by another person, and that is why from social physics he transformed it to sociology. Auguste Comte is known for his tremendous contribution on positivism. Positivism basically is rooted in understanding society from a very, very scientific perspective, and it emphasized, especially Auguste Comte, when we thoroughly read his contributions, we will come across that he was talking about social statics, social dynamics, and he has also given law of three stages, hierarchy of social sciences, where Auguste Comte believes that sociology in a way is the queen of social sciences. Such a beautiful feeling he had about sociology, and he is considered as father of sociology. Then when we try to further explore and understand that how sociology emerged from its baby steps to a much longer flights in understanding social reality, we will have to focus on its historical, intellectual and socio-dynamic, socio-economic, socio-psychological foundations as well, because sociology was making an effort to understand things in a very systematic manner, to hold a very systematic inquiry about the social realities and social problems. And sociology as a discipline, we can definitely say it was a clear response to the processes of industrialization, urbanization and migration, and the massive changes which were taking place because of these kind of social processes. And sociology as a discipline has tremendous focus on understanding how social interactions take place, what kind of social relationships evolve, and also understanding society in a very scientific perspective. And thus there was focus on to understand how social order is maintained. And when you see the initial phases of development of sociology, my dear friends, we will definitely come across many thinkers like Montesquieu, Saint Simon, who tried to understand and propose a very scientific model to understand society. Montesquieu was very much interested to focus on influence of environment and laws on society, and that is why there was focus on objective understanding of society, to observe things from a very empirical format and understand the cause and effect. All these factors played very important role to understand sociology as a scientific discipline. So when we try to understand the origin, emergence of sociology, we should always remember four critical factors, that is Renaissance, Enlightenment period, French Revolution and also Industrial Revolution for that matter. Similarly, we have to also understand that how this subjective understanding of society transformed into objective study of society. So the earlier philosophers which I was just mentioning, like Plato, Aristotle, their focus was more on subjective side. When I say subjective side, it is not something negative. It is trying to understand the phenomena from your own perspective. But later part of the sociological understanding, later part of understanding the social realities, social problems, it was more based on empirical evidences, and that is why emergence of sociology as a discipline around 1838, after Auguste Comte giving the term sociology, was a very critical development in the evolution of the sociological disciplines.